When Nixon closed the gold window in 1971, he created a massive problem. The dollar was no longer backed by anything real. No gold, no silver, just a promise from a government that had already broken its word. And the world knew it. Within months, every central bank on the planet was asking the same question. If the dollar isn't backed by gold anymore, why should we hold it? Why should we trade in it? Why should we trust it? The answer came 3 years later. Not from economists, not from bankers, from a secret deal made in the Saudi desert. A deal so powerful it would force every country on earth to use dollars whether they wanted to or not. This is the story of how America turned oil into the new gold, and why that system is starting to crack. Welcome to the Financial Historian, where money, power, and history collide. And nothing is ever as simple as it looks. After 1971, the dollar was in freefall. Inflation was rising. Foreign governments were dumping dollar reserves. The currency that rebuilt the world after World War II was losing credibility fast. America needed a way to create permanent demand for dollars. Something every country needed. Something they couldn't live without. And they found it. Oil. In 1974, U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger flew to Saudi Arabia with a proposal. It wasn't a request. It was an offer the Saudis couldn't refuse. Here's the deal. Saudi Arabia would sell its oil only in U.S. dollars. No other currency. In exchange, the United States would provide military protection, weapons, and a security guarantee that would keep the Saudi royal family in power forever. Why did this matter? Because Saudi Arabia wasn't just another oil producer. It was the largest oil exporter in the world. And it led OPEC, the cartel that controlled global oil prices. If Saudi Arabia only accepted dollars, every other OPEC nation would follow. And they did. Within a year, oil, the most critical commodity on the planet, could only be bought with US dollars. This changed everything. Suddenly, every country needed dollars again. Not because they trusted the US government, but because they needed energy. Japan needed dollars to buy oil. Germany needed dollars. China needed dollars. It didn't matter if they hated US foreign policy or disagreed with American wars. If they wanted oil, they needed dollars. And to get dollars, they had to sell goods to America or hold US Treasury bonds. This created a permanent mechanism for dollar demand. Countries accumulated dollars not because the currency was sound, but because the alternative was economic collapse. No dollars meant no oil. No oil meant no economy. The system was elegant and ruthless. But the brilliance wasn't just in creating demand. It was in recycling the dollars back to the United States. Saudi Arabia and other oil producers earned billions in dollar revenue. But what do you do with billions of dollars? You can't just let it sit. So the Saudis reinvested those dollars into US Treasury bonds, American real estate, and Wall Street. The money flowed out to pay for oil, and it flowed right back in to fund US government debt. This is the petrodollar system, and it allowed the United States to run deficits that would destroy any other country. Because no matter how much America borrowed, there was always demand for dollars. Oil made sure of that. But here's the part no one talks about. The system only works as long as oil is priced in dollars. The moment that changes, the entire structure collapses. And that moment might be closer than anyone thinks. Because in the last 5 years, cracks have started to appear. Russia began accepting yuan for oil sales. Saudi Arabia signed currency swap agreements with China. Iran sells oil in euros and yuan to avoid sanctions. India is buying Russian oil in rupees. These aren't just small deals. They're signs that the petrodollar monopoly is breaking. And if it breaks completely, the consequences will be catastrophic. Because the US economy is built on the assumption that the world will always need dollars. The national debt is over $35 trillion. The government runs trillion-dollar deficits every year. None of this would be possible without the petrodollar system forcing global dollar demand. If countries